honestly, like, if you look at all the decks from, you know, the Legendary Vanguard, the Legendary Duelist set, there's quite a lot of stuff. I received a lot of comments asking me, Amiz, what's the pull rate like? The pull rate is bad, we're going to die. Well, I would say, at least for the Japanese side, I would say it's not a problem. I don't think it's a problem. Today we're going to start with the most expensive, one of the three of them. It is Nirvana Bagarvan.
Yeah.
And it's expensive because of the number of triple rares you need from the past. Namely, you need a lot of triple rares from DBT13 for the Shroud pickup. You need it from DZBT11 for the modernized Ars and Trickstar and Sumandi, aka the Basagra split. And then you also need like a few double rares and of course Cindy. Cindy is the eternal like $900 million card, of which I really want her banned anytime soon. Mr. Bushiroad, you can give me back Izazao. I'll give you this one. It's no love lost. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Izazao here. Welcome to DZSS14? 16. Legendary Vanguards, yes. So, for those who don't know, I am ostensibly intertwined with this set at this point. Not only did I attend the WGP Tokyo, and I'm finally home. Holy crap, so tired. And I also did the unboxing. So all of those will be linked in the description. But we're going to keep the train going because we have so many videos for Legendary Duelists that I just cannot wait to do. And of course, we are doing the hardest and most irritating one. It is Nirvana Bagarvan. And because I do not actually like to make love to rodents, today we have Mr. Faye the Fourth who will help me cover this deck.
Yeah, I love Varina off night. I know actually Varina off nights. Because think about it, it's like this is just the return of off nights. It just look different.
You may be banned from this channel. So anyways, today we are here to do it. I left Mr. M Crafter 3000 back in Tokyo, but I did film the Chronojet video with him, so you will get that. Okay, I know a lot of people will want that. You will get it because you know only the best for you guys. So the last time we spoke about Nirvana on this channel, like I said, we actually had a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff we didn't cover, right? Like if you just look at all the modern nonsense this deck got, like the deck has fundamentally changed quite a fair bit, I would say. So there is quite a fair bit we'll need to dig through. But the thing is that if you've been keeping up this deck, there is no difference, right? There is no difference. The deck fundamentally just gets a better Vanguard, a better like right line, and then not to mention it now has my favorite thing in the whole wide world, a Vibatsuka. And it has boost, so that helps a lot because the back row is famously quite weird for this deck. So you know what? I'm okay with Varina getting boost rather than them printing a Grand Grey Seek and attack from the center back. Because let's be honest, do we need Vol Varina to attack from the center back? No. So let's get right into it.
Alright, so fundamentally the right line is the biggest upgrade that this deck got. So you can just play any starter, but I'm just playing the Ahinza because number one is thematic because Basagra also shares the overdress mechanic, and I also have a high rare for Ahinza, the original Ahinza, so yeah, it's pretty good. Then we have Reunion, Blaze Maiden, Reno, which is
she's so cute.
The third version of Reno that in Vanguard, and I think this is very good art because obviously the right line, except for some reason, except for the Sunlight 8, which is the new starter, the rest of the art, the rest of the right line is still drawn by Hitowa Sensei, so it's like yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, I like the new egg, if I can be honest.
Hitowa is still one of my favorite artists, but the starter not being drawn by them is like, I don't know. That's why I just decided to just play Ahinza. But anyways, Reunion, Blaze Maiden, Reno has solved one of the many issues that Nirvana has always had, which is that having to call your Trickstar, because now Reno says that when she's ridden on top of a grade 0 and only a grade 0, so welcome back Zorka Phantom. You may review a Nirvana in your right deck. It can be any Nirvana, it can be the original start deck one, it can be Nirvana Jheva. You know, I don't know why you're still playing Nirvana Jheva, but yeah.
Wait, come on. Is that a SIR?
Okay, anyways, so once you review the Nirvana, you can search your entire deck for one Trickstar A back to your hand. And just to remind people, Trickstar and Swendy counts as a Trickstar in both deck drop and Rega Circle. Yeah,
you're gonna show him that because that's a new card for us.
Counts as deck drop and Rega Circle, so you don't need to worry about not being able to search out the new and better Trickstar that the only one that you should be playing at this point, because honestly, like, don't play the original Trickstar anymore. Yeah, then that's basically all Reno does. You just add it to hand, and then you're not forced to call it against Prison, and then Prison can just imprison it. So,
do you remember Varina as per idea?
Good times. And then now we have what is it? Weaving Prayers Blaze Maiden Ryu. Yeah, so don't question the SP.
Whoa, you're so rich.
Don't question SP. This SP is not that expensive. Anyway, so when Ryu is
We know what kind of man you
when
are.
Nirvana rides on top of Ryu, of this new Ryu, you Soul Blast 1 to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, so similar to Jheva, but now you still pay the original Soul Blast cost that the original Ryu had, but you don't get Omni Search. What you get is much better than Omni Search because now Ryu lets you search either a Talisman, which counts any of your Trickstar or any of your Nirvana forms, and Prayer Dragon and Blaze Maiden. So you can search any of these types of cards from the right line for Soul Blast 1, which basically counts for like 50% of your deck.
Wait, say it again. It's a Blaze Maiden?
No, Talisman. So these two. So basically any Trickstar or any Varina. Prayer Dragon, so similar to the
original
Jheva, the Jheva version of Ryu.
Right.
And Blaze Maiden.
So now they added the other archetype Blaze Maiden to this deck.
Yeah.
To search.
Yes.
Because you always play Cindy. Cindy is a +3, it's a nonsense card. But now you're telling me you can now just search everything now.
Yes.
So you're just modern Destiny hero. You now can just touch every archetype that has like one syllable of your damn wording now. Congratulations, you have it.
I love Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer.
So can't you just search like the old Blaze Maiden that can rest 3 back row?
Yeah, you can. You can do that. But you mean why would you want to do that?
Why not?
It's kind of too
Jang,
much
Jang.
counter blast already.
Just-
We'll save that
just-
for
just play Jang.
we may save that for a battles video. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Yeah. So the new Ryu ostensibly is just significant. Like the whole right line as a whole is like you will never play any other Nirvana right line ever again because now none of them are name locked to any specific version of the Nirvana. Like you don't have to play Jheva, you can just play.
Hey, I'm sorry, is that triple red Nirvana?
You don't have to play like Jheva, the Jheva right line for Jheva, and then the original right line for the original Nirvana. You can
Or
just
Maha.
play.
You can play this in
Yeah.
Maha, can't you?
Yeah, you can just play this in any version of Nirvana now, and it's already like 10 times better than any of the old versions, even if it costs a Soul Blast, which is not very good for the new strategy that crossover just wants to go into. But just the fact that you can now search Blaze Maiden also is really like infinitely better. And now we get to the big girl in the room, which is Chakrabathi
Are you sure it's a
Deity
girl?
Dragon, Nirvana Bagarvan. So
Are you sure that's a girl?
Nirvana Bagarvan overall is essentially almost a plus version of Nirvana Jheva, but they smoothed out a lot of the deck's awkwardness, especially with the comboing, because the deck started off as a tempo deck, then it became an aggro deck, and then now it just turned into a wombo combo, like make your opponent sit there for like 5 minutes type of deck.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Shell Cardo game.
Yeah. So what Nirvana's the first ability now is that it is the first ability is exactly the same as Nirvana Jheva, which is that you may discard 1 card from your hand during your turn once per turn to choose a Trickstar and a Prayer Dragon, up to 1 Trickstar and up to 1 Prayer Dragon from your drop, and call it to Rearguard Circle. So it's literally exactly the same as Nirvana Jheva. So it's a -1 to +2, but
That's so
obviously
good.
the +2 is fake is fake as all hell, as we all know at this point. It's been 4 years.
Lying. Oh. Approach. Hello, approach.
And then the second ability is new, which is that you may once per turn act the ability, you may Soul Blast 2 to choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So if you've been here since 2021, you know that this ability was originally owned by the original Varina, which is the Varina from the start deck. And then
What about this guy?
Varina obviously inherited it because his whole entire strategy was bot burn and then become CB1 to gain a dry check, and then everyone under the sun started stealing this mechanic because they call it unique and they call it a get release effect. Well, then this is the original.
Are you really trying to say the idea of a rearguard drive checking is a ball effect and not, I don't know, any of the other guys who used to drive check rearguards like say Solitary Knight Canceller? Is that really the hill you wish to die on?
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
Good. It's for the camera. It's for the camera.
Welcome back, Blade Master.
Hello.
And then the last ability is also a very weirdly worded but also like much more upgraded version of Nirvana Jheva's effect, which is when it attacks once per turn. Okay, so yeah, so they printed once per turn on everything just to take away the Dravela synergy. So now you can no longer like stand your Vanguard in Dravela and then be able to do the multi-attack skill again because it's fair and balanced. You know, I love Cardfight Vanguard. And
I thought you said Vanguard was dying.
so when he attacks, you counterblast 1 and you choose one of your units in the crossover just take a stand it. So literally exactly the same as Jheva for now. But if you have Persona Ridden this turn, instead of only choosing one unit in the crossover dress state and standing it, you choose any number of your units in the crossover dress state. You're only in the crossover dress state and stand them. So
What the?
this is a basically for one color blast, you can stand any number of your crossover dress units, which basically count your entire front row. Usually, if you're doing both of your front row being crossover dress, which is usually the case. Or now with Gala Varina, which will establish later on, is also your back row as well, which basically means that you no longer need to rely on the color blast on
Straw Varina, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Straw Varina to do the 5 attacks. If you personal road, if you go second, you do still need to use Straw Varina's CB1 to stand the 2 front row as well as all your prayer dragons in the back row to be able to do the 5 attacks. But now, if you personal right, you need to use 1 color blast, which opens up a lot of extra avenues of assault for this deck, and it makes it a lot easier to accomplish the higher ceiling that this deck wants to do without being damaged enough or without needing to take like unlimited amount of damage, which you just die to Kiryu Kazuma, because
You got Gotoku.
I love Yakuza, man. I love Stranger Than Heaven. You should go out buy Stranger Than Heaven when it comes out in winter 2026. It's a great game.
I'm pretty sure the Vanguard fans want to hang anyone who says they like this game at this point.
Aye.
Isn't that what all the world's people are telling me?
Do it for the love of the game, not for the game you love.
True.
Yeah. So the reason why that Bagarvan actually like is a much better version than the Nirvana Jheva, even though you lose the synergy with Dravela, is because of the Soul Blast 2 skill. Because the whole entire main like awkwardness with this deck was that you had a lot of really like custom created cards that just made this deck like infinitely stronger and infinitely easier to pull combos off with, like Cindy and like, oh my god, where's my guy? Asverina, fun. So the problem is that these 2 guys kept getting stuck in Soul in your main phase, and there was no way to Soul Blast them out without using cards like Aparagia, which you only call using Jheva's effect. So the entire sequencing was like really very difficult to get your hands around, especially when you have to play like 7 round Swiss, 8 round Swiss, so you have to play 5 round Swiss into 5 round top card. It's like it's really very hard, and it turns a lot of people off from playing Nirvana because of the synergy, because of how all the effects have to go in a certain sequence in order to get all the cards in the certain zones and they need to be, do the looping. But now with Soul Blast 2, not only do you get a pop 1 every single turn for without needing Barbarina on the field, you also get the ability to get Cindy and Asverina out of the Soul, so that you can do the comboing a lot easier, and you can also then get into a lot more deck thinning, which makes the deck infinitely easier to bring to Swiss and infinitely easier to just pick up and play, even if you're not a very hardcore, like, I test this deck like 24 hours a day sort of person. So that is the general gist of why Bagarvan is ostensibly just better than Jheva right now, and why going forward you're never really going to be using another version of Nirvana ever again, unless you want to play Maha.
Unless you want to play Maha, right?
Yeah, Maha definitely still benefits the most from the new right line, because I think Jheva like already was, people were generally okay with the Jheva right line, because number one, it doesn't cost soul, which this one does, which is kind of annoying, but it's fine. I think the good that Bagarvan comes with, which is the minusing of the CB cost, and also the Soul Blast 2 to make Cindy out of the Soul, is infinitely better than what the old run I used to do, and I will take not having to weave that top 7 for just no prayer dragon at all, and then I see 4 of my Varionas in top 7, so I'll take it.
Alright, so
after that very lengthy explanation, the rest of this should be very smooth, because if you have fought Nirvana Jheva in the last, what is it, 9 months at this point, 9 months, or if your English player has been like 5 months, then you generally know what this deck does. So
okay, talk about the great trees, go.
So we play 1 copy of Nirvana Bagarvan in the right deck, we play 3 copies of it in the main deck, and we play 1 copy of Guardias Guardale, because this deck's win condition, if you remember from all the videos that Ames has done on Bagarvan, Persona Right is the win con of this deck, and even more so because they literally wrote Persona Right on Bagarvan herself. So if you know Persona Right, you just explode, and your opponent will not be exploding, you will explode. Then we play 4 copies of Asverina, which we will explain very shortly, and then Straverina, as we've explained beforehand, is the linchpin of the deck still, because it gives any Nirvana triple drive. And yeah, so you don't want triple drive, then that's on you. And you play 1 copy of Barbarina, which is a rear guard which I'll explain later. So Stra Verena we've already covered. It basically just gives your Bagarvan triple drive, and you can also stand it if you go second. If your opponent is grade 3 to stand on your front row. And then we have Bar Verena. So Bar Verena obviously is the the high roll. I hate this guy. Like, this guy cost me. This guy is like absolutely cheating. Like, oh my god, he checked 5 triggers on me, sort of rear guard. And what he does is that is a non-once per turn when he attacks you. If you, for every open rear guard circle on your opponent's side of the field, he gains plus 2k. And if your opponent has one or less rear guard, he can counterblast 1 to give himself a drive check for 1 turn. No, only 1 drive. So he minus himself by 1 drive, and then he gives himself 1 drive until the end of the battle. And this is not once per turn, which means that when Bagarvan stands him, you can do another drive check as well if you have the extra counterblast, which is why Bagarvan's effect to only use 1 counterblast to do the 5 attacks is so much important, because previously this was a 4 counterblast combo to do Jheva, then Stra, then Bar, and then you use Stra together with Bagarvan to stand the front row, which needs 2 counterblasts in total. No, so Jheva plus Stra need 2 counterblasts in total. Now Bagarvan can do this for 1 counterblast. And then this means that you can dedicate 2 counterblasts for Bar now, which means that this is now infinitely more threatening.
2 drives now.
Yeah, and then Bagarvan already has the surplus 2 to pop 1, so that already makes life a lot easier for Bar, because you can do it early on and you can reuse the same Cindy. So effectively now you need 1 less soul to do everything. So yeah, so Bar is really good. Drive checks are obviously still the name of the game in current Vanguard. When has it not ever been? So long as you don't deck out, Bar is always the best option. But if you are about to deck out, then we have the strongest new triple rare that Dragon Empire has ever seen. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they made this card, which is Ars Verena.
That's very nice.
So Ars Verena, if you've played against Basagra or Nirvana in the last 5 months, like we said, you've probably seen him, and what he does is he basically allows you to play 1 to 2 copies of basically any Verena at this point, or any talisman, which includes Trick Moon and Violet. And it allows you to basically Omni Search on it, because his skill is that when he's discarded during your turn, you may put him into the soul instead of putting him into the drop to search your deck for 1 talisman and put it into your drop and shuffle your deck. So he can basically Omni Search for any talisman, which includes all of your Verenas, as well as your Trick Moon and Violet, and also your Trickstar and Swendy, and put into the drop zone, which basically means that you can use them for the effects that you call from the drop, which both Nirvana and Basagra both have. And his second effect is that when this unit is crossover dress, you put the entire drop zone underneath him as original dress, and he gets 1k for each card underneath him as original dress. So it means that if you have 10 cards in drop, he gets 10k. If you have 20 cards in drop, he gets 20k. So he's one of the only Verenas that doesn't force you to actively minus cards in your deck to gain power, unlike Bar, I guess he's basically just better Braum and better Expector at this point. And when he stands by the ability of your Nirvana Vanguard, he gets a crit, or you may give him a crit. And if you do give him a crit, then he will kill himself at the end of the turn, which basically means you empty out the circle, which helps in some matchups where you have to fight a lot of control, he's gonna get bound. But he also has a strategy against that, which is that if he is removed from the rearguard circle in the XOD state, your entire drop zone goes, the entire stack underneath him, your entire original dress goes to the drop and cannot be moved to any other zone. So let's say like if your Seraph player prisons him,
they don't just take the whole prison.
Yeah, they don't take the whole drop zone. They just take him and 1 card alone, and the rest goes to the drop zone.
I mean, that's fair. I can imagine prison players just
like
96k.
So there is a way to give him resist, which basically locks out the prison player's ability to actually touch the drop zone at all. But that is so that is one. So now this deck actually has a lot of ways to out prison, but it's very annoying. So prison is still 100% a very annoying matchup, because you want to be looping cards on the drop zone,
but it can be trained. You can learn that matchup.
You can do it now, which is very easy. And overall, Ars Verena is like one of the best consistency tools that this deck has gotten, because not only does it give soul, not only does it give you consistency, but also it's a very strong beater, which you need when your deck size is very low and you need to just kill it. He's a very, very strong attacker.
Thank you for watching our Basagra deck profile. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
And that's generally all the grade 3s. So all the grade 3s are mainly all the playmakers and the ones you're missing on the front row the most. But what you need is that you need to gain tempo in order to be able to use the grade 3s properly, which is why we go on to the grade 2s.
Yes, and for our grade 2s, we have
One
in the right
copy
deck,
of,
one copy of
one copy of Ryu in the right deck. They play one copy of the new Verina, Garna Verina.
Yay.
And then for the old ones, we play one copy of Mirror's Verina and then 4 copies of Aparajia, which is the only real prayer dragon that you need to
real
worry
is crazy.
Only real prayer dragon you need to worry about. And yeah, so Aparajia, I think we've already explained him to death at this point. If you don't own him, like please go and buy him if you want to ever play this deck.
You've never actually talked about him before.
We did.
Oh yes?
He's been here since DBT 13 because he's just that good. He's the only good prayer dragon they've actually ever printed ever.
Right, so let's just give everyone a summary. This is not only an Omni search for any other prayer dragon you need to build
Which
the
counts
guy.
Chickstar's ND, which we'll explain soon.
That's freaking annoying. And not to mention, when he becomes the Xyz material of your Xyz monster, you get to draw one and the guy gets resist, because why the fuck not, I guess. Very, you know how in Yu-Gi-Oh! We have this term, one card starter, this is it. This is it. Like, you from a hand of this, you can play into literally anything at this point. Right, and like, you just use your little Phantom Knights of something, and you just win the game. It's like, yay! It's like, so annoying. That's so annoying. But you know what? That's fine. Let's talk about okay, mirrors. Mirrors is another one. We've done a lot of mirrors actually. Mirrors is still a really good card in my opinion. Definitely still the safety net in this deck.
Yeah. He's the out to. I mean, not. I wouldn't say out now.
He's the in to a lot of things.
He's the out to when your opponent has basically a resist board or they have too many rare cards and you can't burn all with barrel and you still need to plus cards.
So he's a fun draw. He's a fun power gainer,
and
he's a counter charger.
Yes.
So he's everything you need in a non-kill turn.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to kill, he's still really good tempo, right?
It's
It's 2 draws.
attacker,
It's 2 draws or it's 2 CC, right? Is it 2 CC? 1
Yeah,
CC?
you can choose any number.
Yeah, like there's no real problem with mirrors. The only thing about mirrors is that this deck has no space. Right? I'm really sure if we have more space, we'll play more. Yeah. But mirrors is one of those guys that's like, you know, some days nothing ever happens, and some days you just only search the whole deck because you know why the hell not. Yeah. So thanks to stuff like ours. This is ours, right? Ours. You can search any number of your good cards, including, you know, mirrors right now. So this one is a very old triple rare. I think got reprinted.
DVD, no.
No? Okay, go by the original print. Go by the original print. But you know, you can also search some bad cards as well, such as Garna Virina, the new Virina. Now, people will tell you this card is bad because, you know, nobody has ever respected the Batsuka effect. Not only that, no one respects boost. But the thing is that in a deck like Nirvana, where you keep folding all your funny fellas into grade 2 or higher, this actually counts a lot because you actually do need to stand all the XOD.
Yeah, because Bagarvan now stands XOD.
XOD. So like you can
Stra stands all
Prayer
Talisman
Dragon.
and Prayer Dragon. So
Yeah.
you can no longer rely on, if you want to
Stra.
save Counter Blast, then you don't rely on Stra's restand. But obviously, like if you have the spare Counter Blast, then you just use Stra, and it really doesn't do anything. But Garna Verina says that, you know, it's crossover dress with just Trickstar and one Prayer Dragon, but now that doesn't matter anymore because we will explain in a bit. Woo! And then when he's made into XOD, you Counter Blast 1 to draw 1. So if that reminds you of anything, that shouldn't be a surprise. But
oh my goodness, Virina arcs. He was in our thumbnail the other day.
Garna Verina basic, and then also if this guy is in the XOD state, he also gains boost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boost.
So the fact that he has boost already is it's the very first Verina to gain boost, so that already matters a lot for Bagarvan because then that means it's a booster that you can withstand. And
like, can you imagine it reached the 15th anniversary and then they decided to give this guy boost?
So long as your Vanguard is grade 3, a grade 3 Nirvana, he gains 5k as well. So he's a 15k freestanding booster, which is
so good.
Pretty good.
But you know what? People will tell you this card is bad. People will tell you this card is only 100 yen. Believe them to a small degree. Believe them to the degree wherein you buy this card at like, I don't know, like X number off, but like it's good to own. It's good to own 4 if you're like a Nirvana player, but realistically you have no space in this deck.
Yeah.
You have no more space in this deck.
Especially because, you know, Varina Arcs exists, so, you know, really is very interchangeable whether you want to play this guy or want to play Varina Arcs. You generally take whichever CB1 plus like cheap plus engine that you want to run. It's generally okay.
So actually, I like to talk about Varina Arcs if you don't mind me. Varina Arcs is actually a relatively interesting competitive choice for this deck, especially at Daivangasai 2026, which I myself lost to personally. And the reason why is for a very cute reason, wherein all you do is just, you know, put the guy, exist, draw 2. That's it. makes it so that you can really compete under a lot of situations where you're losing tempo, especially going second. Am I correct? Going second. And that's really good. It does help, right? Unlike this guy, right? He does check for... What does he check for again?
No, I mean it's just the same thing, but you know,
he doesn't get the 5.
He doesn't get the 5 until you're grade 3.
Doesn't get the
But
5.
it's continue, but it's auto, which means that it unlike Myra Arcs, he doesn't lose the 5k after a turn. So if he stays on the board, he's perpetually 15k.
Yeah, but like the thing is that even if you do this, you just intercept it and then just continue.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of Ghana, is that you don't be so willy-nilly if you actually want to keep.
Yeah, I think I would say you can pick one of the two. Realistically, pick the new one.
Yeah.
But there's no harm in
playing
reconsidering the old one, especially because we have seen someone actually do competitively well with this at the event.
Yes.
So there must be some relevance.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But again, that's for you in the comment section to go fight each other to the death. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I think we've teased long enough. Let's go to the most important section, which is the grade 1. So we have Agnes, which was the highlight of our DZBT02 Nirvana deck profile. Which
Check it out in the
we
link
said
description.
before it used to replace Cindy, but you know, I think that now you just play both of them in conjunction, and you just play the Omni like can never break deck ever. And of course we have
Cindy, the one you just said.
terrorist, which is Blaze Maiden Cindy.
Ban this girl. Ban this girl. Ban this girl.
Then we play 4 perfect guards, but you can play obviously play Elemental Sentitude, but I just decided to play
Right, that we know.
the 4 regular perfect guard because we're not scared of Sorry Knight 0.
Who the hell is that? Yeah, right there we
Yeah.
go.
So we play Reload in the right deck, and then we
Very
play 4 copies of Blaze Maiden Blessia, which is the newest support that this deck has gotten from the main set, which is DZBT13 Paralytic Clash.
Now, PGs are PGs. No real need to talk about it. You can play any PG, frankly, because Yuyu is known for every era of Dragon Empire. This one, please check the links in the description. Agnes has a lot of implications when it comes to more counter charge and the recycling of an XOD, right? An XOD, right? So
Yeah.
but he's good. That's why he's at 2, right? Any good card is at 2 or more in this deck, but he's not good enough to warrant 4. And that's because he's not as good as the cyber terrorist herself, Cindy. Cindy, if you've never lost to Bafsagra yet, go to a locals. But if you've never lost to Bafsagra yet, basically she's just +3.
Yeah, so her
It's just
act ability is that if your Vanguard is either Nirvana or Basagra, you can put her into the soul to choose either a overdress possessing unit, a crossover dress possessing unit, or a arms and add it to your hand and basically just it's a 1-for-1 trade. So she basically allows you to recur any of your important pieces that add back to your hand. The only one that she cannot recur is Trickstar and Trick Moon.
Who cares, bro? The whole day is around bringing this from the drop. You're saying this like that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's like saying, oh man, my wheelchair can't breathe oxygen. Of course it can't. It's inanimate.
And then the other crazy effect is that when you call Trickstar or Trick Moon, you can call her from the drop zone for free if you don't have the same name, if you don't have another Cindy on the board. Which
is not hard to do.
Yeah.
Again, Cindy's broken. Because of the Maple clause, you only play her at 3. 4 is a clock in the deck. But you must.
Because
if you want to play this deck competitively, you have to fork out the 5,000 yen for this thing, man.
Because unlike Basagra, the deck engine itself doesn't innately generate soul, so you have to play all the cards that generate soul as much as possible.
And this is it.
And because Cindy is searchable now, you want to play her at least 3 copies, if not. And also because none of the Nirvana also soul +1 again, unlike the original Nirvana right line, so you are minusing 1 soul. So if you want to do Borrow early and your opponent is like Leonon or like Grandfear or like some other like Stoikea like annoying deck that just costs like 5 rear guards for
Nairo!
you have to soul blast 8 cards in order to be able to actually do Borrow on them, then that's where you have to really start considering. You need to see multiple.
I am guilty of that. I played against Nirvana and I used Nairo's Generation Breakthrough and then Mute 3.
Yeah,
so it's like, oh man, I have to do it again.
So you have to remember to actually like generate a lot of soul in order to be able to actually execute the entire combo. Yeah, so having multiple Cindy is important, but obviously don't play too many because she is a Maple after all, so you don't want to be running too many.
But she will be the most expensive card in the deck.
Yeah. And then we have Blessia, which is I don't know why they printed this card, but
this is a new card from DZBT13. We haven't had the chance to talk about it. So hopefully this video will help us catch up all the Nirvana nonsense, right? Yeah. All the Nirvana nonsense.
So Blessia's effect is that when she's discarded from hand, if you may review a Nirvana grade 3 from your right deck or your Vanguard is Nirvana, then you in Energy Blast 3, you search your entire deck for either a overdress or crossover dress possessing unit and add it to your hand and then shuffle your deck. So this is yet another Omni Searcher, just like Ask Verena, but instead of
from the deck is from the drop.
Instead of putting it into the drop, it just goes to your hand.
Wait, this one adds to hand too?
This one adds to hand, yes. Blessia adds to hand. Yeah.
What the shit?
And her second ability also helps with some consistency issues with the board, which is that on Rearguard Circle, if your
You got shoulder and base, right? They can't read it.
If your Vanguard is a Nirvana grade 3 or greater, then you may Soul Plus 2 and retire her to choose a Prayer Dragon from your drop and call it to Rearguard Circle.
Why would you do that?
Because sometimes you may not, because now we don't play Stragaglio anymore. So now there's some scenarios where it's very hard to call 2 Trickstar onto the board because you need to still, because the way Stra works is that you still need to have another Prayer Dragon outside of your
And we
Trickstar.
should mention, she does mention call a Prayer Dragon, correct?
Yes.
And now Trickstar is a Prayer Dragon.
Yeah. So we'll explain everything once we get to Trickstar and Trickstar is Wendy, but the whole point is that she basically lets you call another Trickstar, or you can call, let's say like if you're playing this and you're playing this, let's say like you can even call the new Prayer Dragon. It's not bad because the new Prayer Dragon is a half a IG icon Gallatin from your original dress.
It's Bellican Crow!
It's half a
Y'all love Bellican Crow!
It's half a IG icon Gallatin.
It's
so
just Bellican Crow.
Yeah,
it is not hard.
Yeah, it's half a Soel for Razel, so that's pretty good. And that's basically Blessia is the cream of the, is like the cherry on top of the whole entire deck. Just adds a lot of consistency, and now that she's searchable is even better for Nirvana. So definitely buy her while she's cheap, man. I'm just gonna say buy her while she's cheap.
I mean, this card is gonna be nonsense, right?
And for the grade zeros, obviously we cannot end any Nirvana video without talking about the heart of the deck, which is Trickstar.
The mascot of terror and
now it's Trickstar and Swendy. So Trickstar and Swendy.
Wait. You need to answer the $1 question. Who is Swendy? Who is he?
I cannot answer it.
Why is he here?
I can't
Why are we playing Pokemon Tag Team? Why are we playing dual nations in the same nation?
Pikachu and Zekrom, yeah. So Trickstar and Swendy is the lifeblood of Nirvana until the end of time at this point, because
Like, if this card ever gets cut from the deck, we're dead. Like, genuinely, that means the power level of this format has just, like, crossed premium at that point. Like, we genuinely need to kill someone.
Trickstar, his continuous skill is that he counts as the original Trickstar in the same name in Rearguard Circle, deck, as well as Drop Zone, which means that when Nirvana Jheva or Nirvana Bagarvan calls specifically the name Trickstar, it counts Trickstar as Wendy as well. Then his second ability is that continuous, when you would make this card into a crossover dress unit, he counts as both a Trickstar and a Prayer Dragon in terms of what I mean, because there's a Trickstar and Prayer Dragon right here, so he counts as a 1-card crossover dress, which has saved this entire deck in terms of all the -2 to make 1 rearguards. Like, now he basically just returned back to the original idea of overdress, which is that you replace a guy for one for one at this point, and you just replace him into a stronger unit. So then the third ability, well, obviously this does not count for Stra Verena, because Stra Verena specifically says you need to have 5 cards underneath him. He counts the number of cards underneath him. So even if you have 2 Trickstar and Swendy, which ultimately you cannot do because he cannot even do the same name, he needs to have 5 cards underneath him to get the burn 5 and retire all of your bonus markers. So please do remember that. Don't try to cheat your Levidra's player, please. I'm begging guys, I'm begging. And then his last ability, which is the part that is so annoying, is that when your Nirvana Vanguard will be attacked, or I think it's when any of your, when any of your units is attacked, you may, so you can run this in Basagra as well. Go figure, guys. I love Basagra. So you may choose this guy and take him out of the original dress to put him onto the Guardian Circle, and he gets 5k shield. So essentially all of your XODs now are 10k shield on the board because he counts himself. He can shield himself out on the original dress to become a 10k shield. So it's just great. There's also another Blaze Maiden in DZBT11 called Atole, which in the center back row Rearguard Circle turns all your grade 0 talisman into extra 5k shield, which basically means that now all your XODs become 15k shield. So that's also another deck you can run. But overall, Trickstar S20 is a really fantastic upgrade for this deck. It solves a lot of the issues that Jheva has had in terms of like needing to play basically a 5k vanilla for just because of the name. And now he actually has an actual effect. One of the effects is not resist, so do keep that in mind. But if you want to call him early to rush, he no longer has resist, unlike the original Trickstar has had since 2021. And the last ability is basically just a version of the ability that was from the set order promo that Nirvana got, which is that when the unit that he is a part of as original dress gets bound or put to the bottom of the deck, only the Verina gets sent to the that zone, and everything else goes to the drop.
Oh.
So let's say, like, you know, for the time that Vagiloa was still meta when Nirvana Jheva had this card.
Haha, who is that, blood?
If Vergila's effect would bind the Verina, only the Verina that form will get bound, and the rest of the stack goes to the drop.
Safely sent back to the drop, so you can repeat the cycle of terror again.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very bonkers. Okay.
Alright.
Let's go through the rest of the triggers real quick. Soul crit, because you need soul. Another 4 crit. We are playing on the original crits, because you know Nirvana is an OG in this format. Effect front, Dread Vetter, but Dread Vetter ain't that good no more. 4 heals, and then that wraps it up for the Nirvana.
Yeah, there was a lot of new cards.
Bad fault. I think mostly it's also my fault. I do apologize because I've not been able to cover Nirvana on this channel for over, I think, like 15 sets at this point. So like this was expected, but what was not expected is that they just rehauled the entire deck again. Like exactly as you said before, we just got this and this. Like it's quite shocking that they just redo the deck for a 4th time in like the span of 6 months. And it's not like the good redo, like, you know, Icon, where they threw everything out of the deck. This is making the original existing triple rares even more busted, which frankly I don't know how to feel about that. As a man, I really feel that at this point in time that this deck is definitely gonna be meta, in the sense that if you're already playing this deck, you're definitely gonna be rewarded. But
I mean, I think the joke that I said in the beginning, this really does feel like it's a more fair version of Vergila in the sense.
I would say it's more unfair actually, but
no, because it's a higher failure state because you still need a lot of parts. You still need a lot of things to go right for this deck to actually like truly crush people.
But like you have
all Vergila had to do was just write grade 3 and you basically
have 2 Omni searches and a whole bunch of more nonsense of a guy that counts as 2-for-1 exist material, because why the hell not? And we have a guy that Omni searches the whole deck for Bafsagra.
That's his quirk.
And then you also have a 1-card Shatter, and then you now also have hand traps. Like, come on, like.
We should just take our perfect guy as a hand trap.
Be for real.
Every deck has
Be for real. This isn't fun. Vanguard is dying every day and you know it, right? That's what all the worst players tell me. Vanguard is dying every day.
Deku gets all for 1 and you're telling me my quirk is very perfect.
my quirk is I get to play for dumb jit in this deck now, huh? So, yeah, overall, if you're a Nirvana fan, you're eating well. There is no problem. If you're not a Nirvana fan, time to start learning how to beat this deck. Time to start. I also want to just talk about one more thing, the thing that I mentioned in the comment section earlier, which is the rates for this set. A lot of people asking, how bad is this set? No, it's actually not that bad. At least in Japan, you can build the whole deck like from Legendary Duties. Like true from Legendary Duties, it is very affordable. But that does come with the predicate of which your locals or your environment, your shop does need to open a lot of the boxes, because then, you know, the price obviously starts to drop. If you are only planning to buy, like, say, I don't know, like 5 boxes or something, you probably won't be able to finish anything. But then again, that's the nature of every festival, right? The only good news is now this festival has so many good generics that makes it not too bad. But I understand that English has always had a touchy subject with festival, which is fair. I mean, festival is a Japan first set, unfortunately, so it's not really designed with anyone else in mind besides the people at Tokyo Big Side, which was me. And then, you know, now I ended up with this nonsense deck.
And then obviously like this is the worst. This is definitely the worst deck of this set to represent like the rates. Of
for sure.
You know, if you've seen from this video, like
the rest of this deck isn't
like,
in this deck. It's
only
from
like 6
set.
cards from the Legendary Vanguard is actually in this deck, and it's
not, this deck isn't even from this set at this point. Like, it doesn't count. So, yeah, but we will talk about someone who is from this set very soon. I'll have the M Crafter 3000 video up, of which he breaks down the one and only Chronojet Dragon. So, do stay around for Chronojet Dragon if you're interested. Like this video and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I have to say all this the regular stereotypical nonsense. Because yeah, Chronojet is coming. I know all of you love Chronojet. Every time I release a Chronojet video, I get like 1 million different people messaging me. Thank you for coming back from the dead. I'm like, okay, thank you. So, yeah, any last words for this deck?
Virina Offlights is so fun.
You will not come back on the chat for us this year.
Yay!
Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.